Assalamu alaikum. Good morning. Welcome to all of you into this session on behalf of Shaidan Pharmaceutical. Firstly, I would like to introduce myself. I am Dr. Muzammil, working in the capacity of product manager in Shaidan Pharmaceutical and looking for after Shaidan Ophthalmic Business Unit. So today's our topic is the chronic issues of dry eye syndrome, and with this, I would like to introduce our guest speaker, Professor Dr. Ziaul Mazari, who is the head of ophthalmology department in Wabda Teaching Hospital from Lahore. So over to you, sir, Dr. Professor Ziaul Mazari. Uh,
Thank you, Mr. Muzammil, for introducing, and thank you, Shaigan, for arranging all this activity for the benefit of ophthalmic community. Because the gatherings in this COVID-related circumstances are difficult to arrange and not risk-free. So these online meetings and virtual activities are of great importance, and I hereby appreciate Shaigan Pakistan for taking interest and making this activity possible. And I especially recognize the efforts of Mr. Jahanzeb Gul and Mr. Muzammil from Shaigan, who took keen interest and initiative to start these sessions. And we also pray for Jahanzeb. His father and mother are sick of corona. May Allah bless them with quick recovery, and he may be able to join us happily soon, inshallah. And with this, we come to our topic, that is chronic dry eye syndrome, chronic issues of dry eye syndrome. As the topic suggests, it is a chronic condition, and most of the issues related to dry eyes are chronic in nature. Generally, it is a lifetime diagnosis, and the patient is long time on different tear supplementing and replacement therapies. So most of the issues related to dry eyes are chronic. So we start our session with recitation from Holy Quran. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر صدق الله العظيم. असर की कसम या ज़माने की कसम, इंसान नुकसान में है, खसारे में है, घाटे में है। इल्लल्लज़ीना आमनु, सिवाय उन लोगों के जो ईमान लाए, व आमिलुस सालिहात, और नेक अमाल करते रहे, व तवासौ बिल हक़, और हक की तलकीन करते रहे, व तवासौ बिस सब्र, और सब्र की तलकीन करते रहे। कुरान पाक की जामे तरीन सूरत है सूरतुल असर, and Allah Rabbul Izzat has narrated comprehensively the charter of success for the human beings on this earth. Swears with Asr means the time, passing time, zamana. माजी हाल और मुस्तकबिल, जितने जमाने गुजर चुके, गुजर रहे हैं और गुजरने वाले हैं, वो सारे गवाह हैं कि सारे इंसान, हर इंसान खसारे में है, घाटे में है, सिवाय उन लोगों के जिन्होंने ये चार शराइत पूरी की. द फर्स्ट कंडीशन इज टू हैव फेथ in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the second condition is the good virtues, amil salihat, and the third condition is to preach and to interact with each other, with haqq, with just. And the fourth condition is that whatever comes in this righteous way, to be patient on that. सब्र से काम लेना. तो अल्लाह रब्बुल इज़्ज़त हमें कुरान और सुन्नत को समझने और उस पर अमल करने और तमाम इंसानों को ये पैगाम समझाने की तौफीक अता फरमाए. सदक़ल्लाहुल अज़ीम. So our discussion plan is, first we will be going through the little definition and classification of the dry eyes. Then we will be discussing the diagnostic approach and then therapeutic options. And finally, we will be concluding our discussion. So historical perspective is quite interesting. See, the concept of dry eye comes from the concept of tear film. So Eugene Wolf was the first to describe multi-layer tear film in 1946. And in 1973, Frank J. Holy explained the mucin had a much greater role than previously thought. In 1997, Schaeffer Zhang stated that layers are intertwined to produce a healthy ocular surface. So lacrimal functional unit, as you know, it consists of basic and accessory lacrimal glands, cornea, conjunctival epithelium, eyelids, meibomian glands, sensory and autonomic nerves. So this whole system is known as lacrimal functional unit. And all the afferent, efferent pathways and the functional organs and structures have to be in order for the tear film to function properly. The healthy tear film is a delicate balance. Lipid, aqueous and mucin components. The outer lipid layer prevents evaporation. The aqueous components is a complex mixture of proteins, mucin and electrolytes. It is secreted by main and accessory lacrimal glands. And as we mentioned, the lipid layer is secreted by meibomian glands. The mucin provides viscosity and adherence to the corneal epithelium. The definitions of complex and multi-international agencies have suggested different definitions, but the crust is that it is a multifactorial disorder of tears and which leads to ultimately the ocular surface is disturbed, giving rise to discomfort, visual disturbance, and then potential damage to the ocular surface. And we all know, we will quickly go through these basic facts. Conjunctivitis, keratoconjunctivitis sicca is a multifactorial disease, systemic in origin, and give rise to ocular symptoms, tear instability, and hyperosmolarity, and ultimately leads to damage and inflammation of the ocular surface. And it may also be accompanied by neurosensorial abnormalities. It affects about 5 to 50% of the population. As we look into the pathophysiology of dry eyes, the tear osmolarity plays a key role as it increases the cytokine secretion, and then the surface epithelial cell damage starts. The death of the cells with apoptosis, and thus the goblet cells population decreases, and it further gives rise to tear instability. So it is a kind of vicious cycle which may be triggered by just hyperosmolarity. So the tears which we supplement needs to be rather hypotonic so that the osmolarity of the ocular surface can be maintained. So consequences of these tear composition ultimately lead to increased osmolarity, imbalance of growth factors, poor viscosity in the tears, thus giving rise to more friction. And all this leads to ocular surface damage in terms of loss of corneal epithelial integrity, squamous metaplasia of conjunctival epithelium, corneal filamentary keratitis, marked corneal punctate staining, central corneal staining, erosions, and ultimately the epithelial defects and ulcerations. So this whole pathological sequences lead to altered lifestyle. 5% of the adult population, mostly in fourth decade of life, is affected, and 10 to 15% of the population over 65 years of age is affected by this disorder. And as we look into as we described, three layers: lipid layer, aqueous layer, and mucin layer. So if we look into the spectrum, you can notice very well here that about 2/3 of the problems of dry eyes are related to, are evaporative in nature. That shows the meibomian gland dysfunction, which leads to lipid deficiency. Thus, there is more evaporation from the ocular surface, giving rise to symptoms of dry eyes. 30% almost are mixed, and then comes the aqueous deficiency. So evaporative disease is more significant in this regard. As we look into etiological classification, as we have seen previously in the previous slide, the evaporative factors may be classified into extrinsic and intrinsic factors. The extrinsic factors include vitamin A deficiency, topical drugs, preservatives, contact lens wear, ocular surface disease like allergies. The intrinsic factors: meibomian oil deficiency, disorders of lid aperture, low blink rate, and drug action may be there. Evaporative deficient is the second major cause. The Sjogren syndrome we all know very well. It may be primary or secondary. And the non-Sjogren dry eye disease may be because of lacrimal deficiency, lacrimal gland duct obstruction, reflex block, or some surgical damage to the accessory lacrimal gland, and systemic drugs. As we see try to classify the dry eye patient clinically, it may be an asymptomatic patient or a symptomatic patient. If it is asymptomatic patient, it may be normal. With no signs, then it's normal. The patient is asymptomatic, but on our clinical examination, we notice that there are signs of ocular surface disease. So signs without symptoms show predisposition to dry eyes. So we may advise lifestyle modification, or if some intervention is desired, we may advise some preventive measures. And if we detect that the signs of ocular surface disease are there, though the patient is asymptomatic, and it may be neurotrophic in origin because of the decreased blinking rate or some neurotrophic abnormality, again, proper education, warning, and prevention of the ocular symptoms is desired. Symptomatic patient, we all know, need to be treated, and it may be there without signs. If it is without signs, that shows it is neurotrophic in origin, that the patient is not having any symptoms, but we notice that the ocular surface is getting abnormal and is being destroyed. So it may be a preclinical state, or then we can go for the questionnaires. There are various questionnaires available from different agencies. We can have our own questionnaires as well, in which we try to estimate the kind of damage dry eyes is causing to the patient's lifestyle. The simple questions like the presence of symptoms during driving, TV watching, or the time of day the symptoms are more worse can give us clues how much functional and lifestyle problems that particular patient is having. And while clinical classification is being undertaken, the clinician has to keep in mind that we have to classify it, try to find out whether the spectrum of that particular patient is evaporative in nature or mixed etiology or aqueous deficiency. The symptomatology is, as we know very well, bringing, stinging, itching, foreign body sensation. A lot of friction is there while the lids are moving on the globe, fatigue, gritty sensation, like that. The signs, very easy to pick on slit lamp examination, is just direct examination of the lacrimal rivers. The lacrimal rivers is actually the tear lake where the lower lid approximates the globe. If it is less than 0.5 millimeters, that shows the element of dry eye is there. Then this seam lacrimal lake or lacrimal rivers are full of tear debris. Conjunctival hyperemia may be there. And then we have to look into the appearance of the Meibomian glands. The pouting may be there. And then another interesting sign is conjunctivocallusis. That is, because of the excessive friction, the conjunctival folds look to be overriding the lid margins. So I have written a poem about symptomatology and the severity of dry eyes. So there is a little break with Urdu poetry now. तो इसका नाम है खुश्क आंखें या चश्मे खुश्क, और ये चश्मे बीना जो 2016 में शामिल हुई उसमें ये नज्म शामिल है. हमने देखी हैं वो वीरान वो सहरासी आंखें. We have seen those barren and deserted eyes. हमने देखी हैं वो वीरान वो सहरासी आंखें, अश्क तर को तरसती हुई प्यासी आंखें. The eyes wandering for a drop of tears. सुर्ख इतनी के लहू जैसे टपक जाएगा. This is about conjunctival congestion. सुर्ख इतनी के लहू जैसे टपक जाएगा. The eyes are so red, like the blood may drop from the eye any moment. सुर्ख इतनी के लहू जैसे टपक जाएगा. दर्द से चीखती चिल्लाती हुई रोती आंखें. It's a horrible condition to have dry eyes. सुर्ख इतनी के लहू जैसे टपक जाएगा. दर्द से चीखती चिल्लाती हुई रोती आंखें. रेगजारों में भटकती हुई भारी पलकें. It appears as if the lids and the globe interaction is like some sand. The patient says that as if some sand particles are there between the lids and the globe. रेगजारों में भटकती हुई भारी पलकें, नूर से डरती हुई किरणों से उलझती आंखें. We all know very well the eye is meant for light, but in this horrible condition of dry eyes, the photophobia is also one of the major symptoms. रेगजारों में भटकती हुई भारी पलकें, नूर से डरती हुई किरणों से उलझती आंखें, इतनी उलझन के कोई नोच के फेंके दीदे, इतनी उलझन के कोई नोच के फेंके दीदे, टिमटिमाती हुई, जलती हुई, बुझती आंखें। हमने देखी हैं वो वीरान, वो सहरासी आंखें, अश्के तर को तरसती हुई प्यासी आंखें। कतराए अश्क जो सैराब करे किश्ते वीरां, कतराए अश्क जो सैराब करे किश्ते वीरां, चारागर ढूंढती फिरती हैं सवाली आंखें। So the eye is such a barren that it is in search of a teardrop which may make it comfortable again. And as we go through the presentation, we will see how difficult it is to make this ideal teardrop, which can supplement and which can kind of replace the natural supply of tears for years and years. कतराए अश्क जो सैराब करे किश्ते वीरां, चारागर ढूंढती फिरती हैं सवाली आंखें. So let's come back to the topic again. As we have noticed in the poem as well, that the whole lifestyle of the patient is hurt. It affects vision. As you can see, the night driving problems are there, reading problems are there, computer vision problems are there, television watching becomes difficult. So dry eye really hurts the lifestyle. It hurts the quality of life in various ways. The normal healthy eye balance is gone and the patient's lifestyle is hurt. The factors which can give rise to dry eye syndrome are aging, hormonal changes, contact lens wear, laser eye surgery, computer use, systemic medications, and systemic diseases. So how we diagnose dry eye? By thorough slit lamp examination and by close examination of the tear meniscus, as we noticed in previous slide. Then we use various stains like rose bengal, like fluorescein, to examine the conjunctival corneal staining, and we use fluorescein to examine the lacrimal lake as well. Schirmer's test is used to assess the supply of tears. Then we can have a look and assess whether goblet cells are lacking or not. How is conjunctival surface, the functioning of the lid as a lacrimal pump, and then the mucus shreds and strings noticed in the mixed with the tears is also very important to notice, and the lid parallel folds, which is also known as conjunctivocalysis, which we described in the previous slide. So dry eye diagnosis, if in the Schirmer's test, if less than or equal to 5 millimeters wetting, breakup time, that is button, less than 10 seconds, anterior meniscus height, less than 0.5, fluorescein staining, more than 3 out of 15 parts of the palpebral aperture. Rose Bengal staining, similarly, whether the cornea is being stained or just the lower half of the conjunctiva is picking up the stain or the whole conjunctiva is getting stained, is very important to classify the severity of the dry eyes. And then impression cytology can be used for this diagnosis. Brush cytology is there. And the tears lactoferrin level is a recent addition, but these are mainly academic in application. Mainly our diagnosis depends on history, proper slit lamp examination, and staining patterns. That's the practical thing to do. And generally, those are the measures by which we classify dry eyes. Non-invasive tear breakup time is also very sensitive and easy test in which we can use keratometric Myers and see when the first distortion of the Meyer occurs. And without any dye or any staining, we can have the judgment of the breakup time. Grading of dry eyes. we can use the questionnaires as we previously discussed. There are various questionnaires available online, and simple questions like, our reading is difficult, patient can grade it from 1 to 4. Driving at night, grade it, difficulty in driving, grade it from 0 to 4. Working with computers, and then watching TV. So then this cumulative score can give us, if there is subtotal score from 6 to 9, then we can assess the severity of the dry eyes. So if this assessment and documentation of the severity level is very important. Level 1 is mild to moderate symptoms. Level 2 is moderate to severe symptoms. And level 3 is severe symptoms. And level 4 is extremely severe symptoms with complications like scarring and corneal staining, etc. Comprehensive dry assessment can include etiology, which is rarely one, it's usually several. And we have to classify the glands, whether it is aqueous, lipid, or mucin deficiency, and the severity level of grade 1 to 0 to 4, or from 1 to 3, mild, moderate, and severe. The principles of treatment are same old gold standard: treat the symptoms, treat the cause, and treat the complications. The first and foremost important for any patient in agony is treatment of the symptoms. And then we have to treat and find out the cause, and we have to look into the complications, and we have to advise proper preventive measures, as well as we have to look into prevention of the complications of the treatment. So treatment goals: first establish the diagnosis, then grade the severity, then decide about the appropriate therapy, prevent complications, and address the lifestyle of the patient. So as we classified the severity levels, the treatment algorithm is also similarly classified in level 1, level 2, level 3, and level 4. Level 1 is just patient education, environmental modification, control systemic modifications, control allergies, and try to preserve whatever the tears patient has. Level 2 is we need to maybe needing to use unpreserved tears, gels, and nighttime ointments, nutritional support. Then the topical cyclosporin plays a vital role in level 2. Topical steroids may be of some use, and secretagogues. In level 3, oral tetracyclines may help. Puncture plugs may play a role here. And level 4, the systemic anti-inflammatory drug may come into action with moisture goggles and permanent punctal closure. So mainly the treatment consists of tear replacement and tear preservation. Tear preservation can be undertaken by temporary or permanent punctal plugs, and the tear replacement with the help of artificial tears. And while we are thinking about mainstay of dry eye management is tear replacement therapy. So normal and healthy tears is a great blessing of Allah Almighty with multitude of components, and the tears in chronic dry eye are lacking in many aspects. They lack certain proteins, growth factors, cytokines, mucin is deficient, proteases, and the electrolyte balance is disturbed, which gives rise to hyperosmolarity. So ideal tear substitute should have enough viscosity so that it remains on the ocular surface, lubricates for enough time, but at the same time doesn't impair vision. Generally, it has to be hypoosmolar so that the tonicity may be restored. pH value around 7. Thixotropy is a property in which the becoming fluid when shaken and then semi-solid again. It has to be preservative free or the preservative has to be friendly for ocular surface. And the tear replacement which we offer to the patient should be having contact lens tolerance. Shortly, in summary, the ideal tear substitute should resemble the natural tear as much as possible. So is ideal tear substitute currently available? The answer is no. Though a lot of research has been undertaken and so much investment around the globe is there for tear formulations, but you see the blessings and the greatness of Allah Almighty that we are yet not able to manufacture a single tear drop which resembles the natural tears. फबिय्यि आलाइ रब्बिकुमा तुकज़्ज़िबान, तो अपने रब की कौन कौन सी नेमतों को झुटलाओगे. And even if we are able to manufacture and find out a tear drop which resembles the natural tears, so who will supply that on such a controlled rate that it doesn't overflow on the cheeks and it just keeps the eye without any, lubricates the eye without any friction. So this is blessings of great Almighty Allah, which we should be always thankful. So artificial tears, they try to hold certain aspects and try to mimic the natural tears, and they contain the lubricating agents. Then they have to have the sticking agent, and then they have to have certain electrolyte balance as well. A teardrop composition, as we have already seen, it has to have a preservative or it has to be supplied in minims. Then there may be some buffer and emulsant as well. So one of the good tear alternatives available, thanks to Saigon, their product is here with the name of iLube. And it's a very good compound, contains polyethylene glycol, propylene glycol, hydropropyl guar, which is a gel forming matrix. And interestingly, sodium perborate is here as a preservative. So this is known as disappearing preservative. It is a preservative once inside the bottle, but once it goes inside the eye, it disappears and decomposes itself into friendly compounds. So preservative has a very typical history. In 1953, FDA declared that the ocular compounds cannot be there without preservatives. So from 60s, the ocular drops are being supplied with preservatives. The preservative should have a bright antimicrobial activity and it has to be friendly to the ocular surface. Bec, polyquat, chlorbutanol, and sodium perborate, which is one of the most friendly amongst these preservatives, is available as preservative options. The other option is that we may have to have preservative-free tears, and luckily one of the companies is supplying minims locally in Pakistan for the first time in the history. But this sodium perborate is also a disappearing preservative. Then the question comes to the clinician choosing the right brand for the right patient. As we have classified, we have to see which layer is deficient and which stage the patient is from mild, moderate to severe. And similarly, we have to choose between disappearing preservative, preservative-free, or nighttime gels, or whatever the patient's symptoms can be, in what way the patient's lifestyle can be improved. So iLube is a good option in this regard for mild to moderate stage. In the shape of drops and with disappearing preservative, it comes as a friendly compound. So, you know, as we are talking of tears, this Taj Mahal building is also, according to Rabindranath Tagore, a teardrop on cheek of time. वक्त की आंख से टपका हुआ आंसू ताजमहल को कहते हैं. To summarize, dry eye is a multifactorial disorder, so comprehensive assessment and approach is mandatory. Severity level needs to be assessed, and according to the severity level, we have to have tailored therapeutic approach, which may be monotherapy or combination therapy, or it may be immunomodulation in addition to combination therapy, and then the surgical intervention in terms of temporary or permanent punctal occlusion, or other measures like conjunctival surface replacement may be opted. So disappearing preservative in artificial tears is a good tool, but we have to know that some patients are even allergic to this disappearing preservative as well. So the message here is keep blinking, because blinking is a great blessing, and may Allah protect our eyes and our patients' eyes from this horrible condition of dry eyes. कतराए अश्क जो सैराब करे किश्ते वीरा चारागर ढूंढती फिरती हैं सवाली आंखें. So we are still in search of an ideal teardrop, and I thank again Shaigan Pakistan, and especially Mr. Jahazib Gul and Mr. Muzammil for arranging this activity, and hopefully this discussion may benefit our ophthalmic community for grading and proper management guidelines of dry eyes. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for this presentation. And as we all know, you are multi-talented, and especially the addition of the poem in this presentation, this is marvelous. So the next session, we will move towards the next part, that is the QA part. If anyone from the participants have a question, any type of question regarding this presentation, so they may ask through chat box. And so there's a question, is there any moisture glasses or goggles available in Pakistan which prevent from dry eye?
The typical moisture goggles are not available, but the goggles which the swimmers use can be used for this purpose. They are quite effective. The recent developments are good. We skip few slides, even for the evaluation purpose. The various analyzers are available, which with the help of computer software can classify the disease. And as we were discussing, we have to find out layer wise, and those softwares can give clues that the which layer is deficient and which ideal tear supplement should be advisable for that particular patient. So I know at least 2 analyzers are available, but the cost and the sophistication is there. And basically, we have to learn the proper slit lamp examination, the staining patterns to properly classify, and spend a little time with the patient while taking history, so that we can know how much the patient lifestyle is being heard. And as another comment from Mr. Dr. Sarfraz Patafi has come, that can we mix serum with iLube? So the serum is actually where we were talking about immunomodulation and moderate to severe eye disease. The serum, I forgot to mention, patient's own derived serum is very effective. And mixing of this with iLube, I don't have any experience of mixing it with tears, but I think it can be done, because we have been mixing it with tears natural. So similarly, it can be mixed with iLube as well for proper dispensing and for the comfortable delivery to the patient. As long as the cyclosporin has become available, I use this serum option less often now. Generally, we are able to. And then I have another interesting tool which I use kind of off label, and that is the use of Crolimus skin ointment, which we use in spring catarrh as well as other Steven Johnson syndrome and in very severe Sika syndrome. We can just apply it around the eyes, and I say about half grain size of rice into the eye as well. Many patients tolerate it very well, and it plays a great role like cyclosporin for immunomodulation in immunological region of the dry eye disease. Another question has come that what is the role of sodium perborate as a preservative? The role of sodium perborate is as a preservative, that it is a preservative which keeps the tears in the bottle infection free, and once inside the eye it is decomposed into H2O2, and thus which are the friendly compounds. So the preservative related toxicity which was used to be there with BAC and polyquat is less marked with sodium perborate. Dr. Abdul Mannan has asked, is there any role of stem cell therapy in surgical management of ocular surface disease? Of course, as we were talking about grade 4 abnormalities, where the complications and scarring comes into play, then the ocular surface is really irreversibly hurt, then we have to go for these stem cell treatment, and that uh, the membrane which is derived from placenta is also used to replace. The dose of cyclosporin is asked by Dr. Sarfraz Patafi. The dose is 1 drop. The concentration is 0.05% to 1%. And before the topical cyclosporin was available in Pakistan, we used to have it made from Shaukat Khanum Hospital. That was 1%. But 0.05 to 0.5% is good, and the dose is 1 drop twice a day, and in severe cases we can make it thrice a day. Preservative free drops are available in Pakistan now in the shape of minims, and another company has launched the Cationam. That is, I think, uh, the name of that drop is Cationam, which comes with a container, so that it doesn't need a preservative. It has a special container. And another was supplied by Helix, that is Lumixa, and probably Lumixa may not be no more available. So Cationam is there, and recently Artilac has been launched by Bosch and Loomb in Pakistan in the shape of minims, and hopefully the Shaigan will be coming up with some preservative free drops soon. So another interesting thing has been raised by Dr. Waqar Ahmed about difference between Zamzam and human tears. I don't have any personal insight about this. Secretagogues as such, I have not used. That is from Dr. Nika Holy Family Hospital, Rawalpindi. And I don't know about anything available here. As anti-inflammatory, tetracyclines occasionally we use for 2 weeks to 4 weeks time. And doxycycline we have also used. And if anybody has experience or information about secretagogues, please share so that I can share it to the audience.
Well, sir, I think all the questions were clear to the audience. And thank you to Dr. Atif, Dr. Anika, and the many doctors, Dr. Wakar Ahmed, especially Arslan, Sarfraz Patafi, Dr. Sarfraz Patafi, for the question. And thank you, Professor Ziaul Masih sir, for this great session and the presentation that you have given. And definitely, Shaigan Pharmaceutical is working on this to plan, and near in future we are planning to launch preservative-free dry eye product. So, sir, thank you once again. And at the end, I would like to add that once again that Shairan Pharmaceutical offer to restore eye lubrication. This is a product with the name of iLube, freely available in all Pakistan, and having a efficacious result in domestic and as well as international market. And thank you. It is also a number one brand in the dry eye market. In the end, I will. So this session, I think the session is all clear. Thank you, sir, Professor Ziaul Masih
I
sir.
also thank you, Mr. Muzammil. And in the end, we again pray for Jahanzeb Gul's father and mother. May Allah provide them with full health soon. He is attending them, and he is one of the key persons who initiated and thought about this program. So I thought both Mr. Muzammil and Jahanzeb and Shaigan Pakistan. And thank you, our participants, for active and lively participation. Thank you all. Allah Hafiz.